So we are looking at expanding single brackets. So if we wanted to work out the area of this whole rectangle here, this one here, with the red and blue together, there's two ways we can look at this. First of all, I could say the area of the whole triangle is 3 times 4 add 5. Now if we leave it like this, there's a slight problem. If we follow the rules of BODMAS or BIDMAS, we'd have to do 3 times 4 first, and that's not what we really want. So to do the 4 add 5 first, we have to put it inside bracket, because BIDMAS or BODMAS is do the bit in the bracket first. So now if we do 4 add 5 first, it's 9, and the answer would be 3 times 9, which is 27. This is exactly what's shown here with this yellow rectangle. You just do 3 times 9 is 27. There's another way of doing this though. I could have just said that the area of the blue rectangle here is 12, because 3 times 4 is 12, and the area of the red rectangle here is 3 times 5, which is 15, and then we do 12 add 15 is 27. So that's an alternative way of doing it. So if we write this down properly here, we're saying do 3 times 4 first and then add 3 times 5. So what's 3 times 4 is 12, and what's 3 times 5 is 15. So 12 add 15 is equal to 27. And on this side of 4 to write down 3 times 9 is 27. So we now know the answer is correct using both methods. So with the method on the left, we just did 4 and 5 is 9, and we times it by 3, so 9 times 3 is 27. And with the method on the right, we just said 3 times 4 is 12, and then we added that to 3 times 5, which is 15, and when we added that together we got 27. Both the methods are correct. Now I just want to say one more thing with this bit here. Do we really need to write 3 times 4 add 5, or could we just write it like this, 3 and then 4 add 5? We could actually just write it like this, because when you've got a number next to a bracket, we know that there is a time sign there. We don't have to put a time sign there. So again, in this example, to work out the area of this whole rectangle here, we could say 4 times 3 is 12, and 4 times 7 is 28. So to write it formally here, would say the area of the whole triangle would be 4 times 3 add 4 times 7, which is equal to, well, we know that 4 times 3 is 12, add 4 times 7 we know is 28. So when we do 12 add 28, we get 40. So we know the area of the whole rectangle is 40. Alternatively, we could have just done 3 add 7, and that would just give us 10. So alternatively, we could have just said 4 times 10 is equal to 40. So both ways the answers are correct. So this bit here, how would it be written? It could have been written as 4 times 3 add 7, and then we expanded the bracket. We done the 4 times 3 first, which was 12, add, and then we done the 4 times 7, which was 28, and we got the answer was 30. So this time round, to work out the area of the whole rectangle, we'll have to do A times, and then in the bracket B plus C. And remember I said we don't really need the time sign there, so really we should be writing it like this, A times B plus C. So what's a times b? Well, a times b would just be ab, and then what's a times c in red? It would just be ac. So the answer would just be AB plus AC. So the area of this whole rectangle is AB plus AC. So remember, what do we do? We first did A times B was AB to get the area of the blue rectangle, and A times C was AC. So remember, A times B, we can just write it as AB, and A times C, we can just write it as AC. So the final answer is AB plus AC. So the question might be, expand the brackets. So first of all, what does 4 times, what does that mean? It means 4 lots of x plus 2. 4 times whatever's in the bracket. So it means 4 lots of x plus 2. So we've got x plus 2, x plus 2, x plus 2, and x plus 2. 4 lots. That's exactly what this means. We've got 4 lots of x plus 2. So to expand the bracket, obviously now we can see in this situation, we can do 2 add 2 add 2 add 2 is 8, and then x add x add x add x, or there's 4x, so it's 4x plus 8. We could do it like that, but that's a very long way of doing things. And as you do more complex questions, you'll see that this will actually be tedious and quite long. So a much quicker way would be just to fill in the table. So 4 times x is 4x, and 4 times 2 is just 8, and the answer is 4x plus 8. So that's how we expanded the bracket here and got the answer to, which was 4x plus 8. It's exactly the same if you turn it around sideways. So if we want to work out the area of the whole rectangle, we could do 5 times 2 first, and then so it was 5 times 2 will give the area of the blue one, and then we're going to add that to 6 times 2, that will give the area of the red rectangle. When we add it all together, we get the area of the whole rectangle. So 5 times 2 was 10, and 6 times 2 is 12. When you add it together, the answer is 22. Okay, so it's exactly the same as saying 11 times 2, which is 22. So it's exactly the same. But how would this have been written? It would be written as 2 times 5 plus 6. So if we had to expand this, we would do it like this. So do the 2 times 5 first, and then add that to whatever 2 times 6 is. Exactly how we've done it here. So 5 times 2 we said was 10, and we knew that 6 times 2 is 12, and when we add it together, we got the answer of 22. So now, using the grid method, I would like you to expand the single brackets. There are other ways of doing it. You don't have to use the grid method, but I find that using the grid method keeps your work tidy and easier to check for mistakes. So these are the 15 questions that I'd like to try by yourself, and then I'll go through the answers one by one. So question 1, we have to expand the brackets. So we have to 2 times whatever's inside the bracket, or 2 lots of whatever's in the bracket. So now the long way of doing that was to say that we've got a plus b, and we've got 2 lots of them, so I can write it like that. So I can see here b and b is 2b, and a and a is 2a, so the answer is just like that, 2a plus 2b. But as the question gets more complex, it'll be harder. You can't just do that. You'll have to use a more formal method. So the way I like to do it is, well, inside the bracket, because inside the bracket I've got a plus b, I'm going to put a here, and I can put b there, and the 2 there will come on the side here. So 2 times a is 2a, And remember, this is a positive plus, it's a plus. So 2 times positive b is just positive 2b. So add 2b. So the final answer is 2a plus 2b. So that's the answer to question 1. So looking at question 2, so I've already got my window drawn out now. So on the top I'm going to write x and the plus 2, and on the side here I'm going to write the 3. So the 3 times x goes, we have to answer 3x, and the 3 times plus 2 is just plus 6. So the answer is 3x plus 6. So remember, this x came here, the plus 2 arrow there, and this 3 came here. Then I did 3 times x to get 3x, and then I did 3 times plus 2 to get plus 6. The other way to look at it is to pretend that this length here is 3, this length here is x, and this length here is 2. So obviously, to work out the area of this rectangle here, I'm going to do 3 times x, which is 3x. And if this rectangle here is 2, so this line here is 2, the length of that line from there to there is 2, but we know that this is 3, same as this. Then the area of this rectangle here, maybe if I do a different color, this rectangle here is 3 times 2, which is 6, and it's positive 6. That's why the final answer is 3x plus 6.